4 years ago, Sony released the A1, which was a massive step forward in features and resolution packed inside a single camera body. Recently, they've released the A1 Mark II, which improves upon some of the features found in the original A1 while keeping the same core performance that pro shooters have come to love and rely on. So if you're currently shooting the A1, should you upgrade to the A1 Mark II? Or if you're not shooting the A1 at all, should you consider the latest model or pick up the original at a slightly discounted cost? But I want to focus on features that will stand out to underwater shooters, specifically as it relates to wildlife shooting and housing ergonomics. Right off the bat, you'll notice that the A1 Mark II has a redesigned body similar to the A9 Mark III. While this is arguably more comfortable while shooting topside, it's not relevant while it's inside an underwater housing. However, one small change that I think is important to note is the asterisk that's included on the drive mode dial. On the original model, you were only able to change the drive mode through this physical dial. Now on the A1 Mark II, if you set it to the asterisk, you're able to change the drive mode inside the camera body. Another convenient design change that I'm happy to see is the addition of a photo, video, S&Q mode dial. This is accessed through an extremely smooth dial at the top of your housing, offering seamless transition through the modes. Not really body related, but the A1 Mark II does come with a dual battery charger instead of a single battery charger that comes with the original A1. This is really nice to have for obvious reasons, but it's really hard to beat our integrated USB-C data transfer and charging cable. This small addition means you can keep your camera inside the housing for your entire trip if you wanted. If you pick up a deluxe version of the A1 Mark II housing, we'll install the bulkhead for you. If you don't, you can pick it up as a standalone product and easily install it yourself, and I'll link a video on the screen now to show you how to do that. The A1 Mark II has a fully articulating screen that we've seen on some of Sony's latest cameras. Again, not super useful inside of a housing, but if you're shooting this camera topside, it really makes a difference, for example on safaris or birding trips. You'll get a slightly larger back LCD on the latest model while keeping the same EVF as the Mark I. However, the EVF on the Mark II has a higher refresh rate, meaning closer real-time action for fast-moving wildlife. Both cameras share the same 50 megapixel stacked sensor and XR processor, so you won't see a significant change in image quality, but that's not a huge deal since it was already super solid in the original A1. However, the A1 Mark II has Sony's dedicated AI processor, which will give you an improved autofocus system. This improved autofocus system recognizes the same subjects, but they advertise 30% better recognition of humans and animals and 50% better recognition of birds. In the past few months of shooting with the A1 Mark II, I will say that it was very quick to pick up on humans in the pool, and I was impressed by its ability to stay locked on while transitioning from above to below the water, where some cameras struggle with the change of perspective. It's also significantly better at locking onto birds than the A1, which was already really good, and it's been a blast to shoot with as spring comes around here in the Midwest. The A1 II also offers new focus areas like extra small and extra large, as well as some custom focus boxes. This can be useful for nailing focus on macro subjects through coral or small openings. Now both cameras offer the same burst shooting at 10 frames per second mechanical and 30 frames per second electronic in a compressed RAW format. However, the A1 Mark II has a slightly larger buffer at 240 RAW photos versus 238 RAW photos found in the original A1. This burst shooting underwater really only shines if you're using a pair of strobes that can keep up, like the Ikelite DS230 or the DS232s. I'll leave a link on the screen now if you're interested in checking one of those out, and these videos will have all the features and specifications that you're looking for when trying to decide which strobes you want to pick up next. More notably, the A1 Mark II offers a pre-capture feature, which allows you to capture up to 1 second of images before the shutter is pressed. This is activated by half pressing the shutter, and a small pre-capture icon will appear in the bottom corner of the screen. The A1 Mark II retains the same core performance as the A1, but there's no doubt that there's some new features in the Mark II that are appealing to shooters that want the best that Sony has to offer, but it's going to come at a price. If autofocus and pre-capture are important to you while shooting underwater and topside, the A1 II is worth considering. However, this is a great time to pick up the original A1 on the used market, and you'll have a camera that I would gladly shoot for years to come. If you have any questions or thoughts of your own, please drop them in the comments, and if you're interested in taking the A1 Mark II or the A1 underwater, you can check out our website or shoot us an email to ikelite@ikelite.com.